Oh, good. Thank you.
The other way
Recording in progress.
I apologize.
It's such a big deal. 7 o'clock on the dot. Oh, okay, hi Rose. Good. It's been a crazy carpooling afternoon. Of course. It's 7 o'clock on Thursday, May 15th. Let's call the Wilton Board of Education regular meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second? Thank you, Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries unanimously. Comments from the public. The board has set aside time at the beginning and end of regular meetings for public comments for members of the public to share their views on matters involving the Wilton Public Schools and to help inform the board's decisions on such matters. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to any one subject. For the record, please also give your name and address. The board considers the views of citizens in its deliberations and welcomes and appreciates public comment. The board listens to public comment thoughtfully and with interest. The board, however, generally does not respond to public comment during board meetings by offering commentary or answering questions. The board also invites commentators and the public to contact the board or the superintendent directly with any specific questions or comments. The board, through the chair and the superintendent, may respond to questions and comments offered during public comment or shared directly. And in responding, may also direct members of the public to the appropriate staff member for a response. Are there any comments from the public? Are there any online?
Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Oh, thank you. I'm going to take Nicola and then second Pam. Thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Yep, well, we already. All in favor?
Aye.
Carries unanimously. We have a lovely evening to start off with some reports and recognitions,
Yes.
right? Oh, I just want to thank Chuck for being here tonight. And Kevin said he's off with a bunch of superintendents up at Harvard, you know, gathering all new and fun things for us to do here.
Yes, he's been sending them to me.
So exciting. So I think the first up, right?
Yes, we have Gabrielle Koch from CABE, who is going to present an award to the board for your efforts around communication.
Thank you. Welcome.
Let me go over behind you if you don't mind. That way.
Oh, sure. Whatever is easier for you.
I can hand it off to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
The bubble wrap. I'm not going to take them out right now.
Okay.
So thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
so
having
much.
me. I'm Gabriella Koch.
Nice to see you.
I'm part of the board of directors for the Connecticut Association Boards of Education. I'm on the board of directors as the city representative for Stanford. Also serving on the board of it over there, and it's my honor tonight to present to you these awards. I'm going to look at my notes here a little bit, so please don't mind me. Indulge me with a little bit of history. I hope you indulge me to share some history on the award. So CABE has been honoring districts with the Award of Excellence for Educational Communication since 1975. In 2016, the award was renamed in honor of longtime CABE staff, Bonnie B. Carney, in recognition of 47 years working on education, specifically on educational communications. And so this goal for the award is to identify hardworking people in public school. Excuse me, I'm running around, I'm like tired. For continuing effort to communicate effectively. And the award tonight is specifically for the computer generated project, MDTV, the Miller Driscoll Morning Show, Secondly, also for the newsletter, Wilton by the Numbers. And lastly, for the website, Wilton High School School Counseling Hub. So very grateful to be here with you all to celebrate this. And let me know if there's any way that I can continue to support you as a board director on CAVE, and I'm sure we'll be seeing each other soon into the conventions coming up in November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, and it's really an honor.
Next, we have Student Leader Award recipients for CAVE.
Yes, and each of our principals are going to present them to their respective students and families. Maybe we'll start with Toby.
Okay. I do have a little something to say about each of our
Fantastic.
recipients, so turn and face them. So at Middlebrook, it's a full staff endeavor in selecting our students that we recognize, student leaders. Teams make the nominations, but the staff actually votes. Students absolutely these awards. So we're really excited about our recipients this year. I'm going to start with Tess. Tess Gibbons is described as enthusiastic, determined, detail-oriented, and a leader. Her classmates say that Tess always thinks about others first, and that if she ever sees someone is upset, she takes the time to help them. She's friendly and personable with all people, including the teachers and staff. Tess is a member of our SEL advisory group, the 8 Yellow Student Advisory Council, and is also a web leader. She's not afraid to take risks. She answers questions, and she always contributes to group discussions and projects. Tess enjoys playing soccer, basketball, and tennis. She loves hanging out with her friends and her siblings, and her teacher said even her twin brother. Tess has earned mostly A+ grades. She always has a positive attitude and a smile on her face. And when Tessa's peers were asked to comment on her, they said she's always kind. Even if she's involved in something, she drops it to help you. If you're in a bad mood, Tess will cheer you up no matter what. And she always puts others before herself. So congratulations to Tess. Next up is Royce Richards. Royce has positive spirit, and he has spirit in all ways, whether it's for the team or the whole school, whether it's celebrating a holiday or celebrating any kind of music venture. Royce is always showing his spirit. His classmates share that he has a positive attitude, he makes others happy, and he has a great sense of humor, and that he's bold. Royce volunteered to deliver an Oz talk to his entire team. Think of a TED Talk when you think of Oz talk. He's a conscientious student who perseveres, always making an effort, and he's always willing to ask questions. He loves music and he plays, is 6 correct? I think it's probably more than that, different instruments. He's been part of the Wilton High School marching band since he's in grade 5. Last week, we had our concerts at Middlebrook, and Royce performed at each grade level concerts, as well as the Apple Festival on Friday. He's part of the pit crew for the Big Fish production. He also enjoys flag football and video games. He's a big Ohio State and Philadelphia Eagles fan. He's had a great year. He earns mostly A grades, and his peers say that Royce is always a good friend. They can always rely on him. His positivity is contagious, and he's always there to help others anytime. He always puts others before himself, especially if you're stuck in a situation. Congratulations, Royce. Thank you. And last but not least is Spencer Shaw. Spencer says he always aspires to do his best. He is also a web leader. He sets a great example for his peers academically, taking challenges that are offered and always excelling. He's invested in the 8 Green community. Anytime there's a team building activity or games or decorating fundraisers, Spencer is always leading the way. He's involved in many activities: GSA, theater, the literary magazine, student advisory council, but he always honors all of his commitments. He's the student representative on the district climate committee, and his voice is really appreciated and heard in that venue. Spencer is creative and artistic. He is a visionary artist, and his art will be displayed in Middlebrook for years to come. He is honest, and he has a strong moral character. He's thoughtful and empathetic. He knows about current events and uses his knowledge to connect to and contextualize class content. He attempts to lift the level of the students around him. He always greets teachers and asks about their day. Spencer always looks for ways he can help others. He's always respectful. He has a heart of gold. And Spencer's peers say he's creative and he comes up with the best ideas. He always finds a way to use his talents for the benefit of all. When you have a conversation with him, it is pure joy. He is a ball of sunshine, always positive. Congratulations, Spencer.
Take note, Dr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Board Chair DeLuca. Well, firstly, congratulations to Tess, Royce, and Spencer for all that you've done. We can't wait to have you at the high school. All three of you. We met recently on the climate meeting. So, Courtney, just stand up if you would, as I say your accolades a little bit here. We have Courtney Allen here. We are honored to present 2025 CAVE winner. Courtney is a remarkable individual, brimming with curiosity, resilience, and an infectious sense of humor. She continuously impresses her peers and teachers with her dedication to her learning and her commitment to her community. These two attributes are particularly evident in her founding of the Children's Book Drive Initiative in 2023. Her efforts resulted in over 2,000 children's and young adults books being collected and delivered to the Luis Munoz Marin School in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Courtney also mentors girls in 5th to 8th grade through her involvement in the Ms. President USA, a girls' civic leadership program that motivates and prepares girls to aim for the highest civic leadership positions. Her work with the local Fairfield County chapter of this organization so impressed the directors that she was selected to oversee communications and outreach and serve as president of the Student Advisory Board. Get ready for this now. Courtney's academic and extracurricular accolades stretch into the dozens, with recognition in everything from the National Merit Scholarship Corporation to the National Honor Society to multiple awards won on the Wilton High School debate team. As if that were not enough, she maintains a 4.0 GPA while taking an astounding 6 AP classes. She also took 5 AP classes in her junior year, scoring 5s on every single exam. We are proud to have such an intelligent, compassionate, independent, dedicated, and creative student at Wilton High School. I present to you the Board of Education, our very own Courtney Allen. Well done. Some of you know Tanner Schmauk. Tanner is, as we speak, out competing on the lacrosse field. They have a game tonight. So in absentia, I'll read the honor for Tanner, and I'll ensure that he gets his certificate and that the Board of Ed honors him. It's not here, so. We are honored to present Tanner Schmauk as a 2025 CAVE winner. Tanner is an extraordinarily well-rounded, driven, and humble individual whose commitment to his community, academic excellence, and athletic achievements are evident throughout his time at Wilton High School. Tanner has founded not one, not two, but 3 student-run organizations dedicated to service. Wilton Workers connects students to local community members who need manual labor and odd jobs, and Tanner oversees the scheduling of over 40 of our students. As a sophomore, Tanner founded the Wilton chapter of Feeding 500, which has raised over $30,000 toward the goal of providing 500 meals annually to the Open Doors Shelter in Norwalk, Connecticut. As a junior, he founded Fitness for Freedom, which raises money for active duty soldiers through fitness-related activities. Tanner is also an academically gifted student who maintains a 3.9 GPA while serving as president of our National Honor Society. He accomplishes this while playing on the varsity lacrosse team, coaching for Wilton Rec basketball, and refereeing for Wilton Rec football. Tanner's love of sports has honed his discipline, resilience, and teamwork skills, which complement his strong work ethic and his ability to balance a wide range of responsibilities. We are proud to have such a multifaceted, driven, resourceful, intelligent student here at Wilton High School. I present to you Tanner Schmout. Tanner reached out to me before the meeting and he said, if we could, he has a brief thing. He is incredibly honored to receive the CABE Leadership Award. One of the key aspects of being a leader is to have the willingness to take on challenges. I owe much of this aspect of the incredible faculty and staff of the Wilton Public School System. An honor. Ever since I was in kindergarten, my teachers have believed in me and motivated me to be my very best. For that, I am eternally grateful, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience these past years. Thank you, Wilton. And it wasn't actually in Courtney's letter, but he too is a varsity tennis player and just rushed over from a match that she had. I think in Fairfield, right? Yeah. She almost didn't make it, but she's very quick, and so she's deeply involved in athletics too. We're very proud of the students, and congratulations to the Middleborough students. You really made it.
I'd like to invite each families if they want to come up and we can get a picture with your, in front of the Wilton Public Schools with your award, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of it to memorialize.
Come on up, please.
Sure. Principal. Nicholas, can I put you in charge? Sure. I'm so excited. We did everybody.
Royce had to get back to the pit.
Oh. Yeah. Can we get everybody in? Can I hold your award?
Can you get us all in?
Can you get us all in?
Yep.
Sorry, can I get happening with this?
Let's get in there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Gabriella.
It was in right now. I feel pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. This weekend. Yeah.
Thank you so much. You got yours.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, goodness.
Thank you, Nicole. Yes, we'll just, I can become a thing. Board Chairs report, just briefly, I want to thank the community for coming out and voting in support of the budget. Over 15% of the community came out, so it's a larger turnout than usual, and the margin of support was over 75%, which is also larger and than normal. So it really is a testament to the work of the district and staff and everybody sitting around this table. And I just want to thank the community for their continued trust and partnership and support. So Thank you. Do you have a superintendent's
No,
report?
I'd just
Okay.
like to, I'll echo your comments, congratulate you guys in particular for all the hard work you did in shepherding this budget through the process, and really probably the best budget cycle I've been through. So I think it's going to you guys.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next up is financial report. Hi, Layla, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So the end of the year is almost here. So we're working hard to close out the year. Right now, everything looks like it's in pretty good shape. Going forward, we've noticed this year that there was an uptick in overtime. Substitutes is always an issue, but we did address that in the budget for next year. Trying to increase that a little bit, and we had those discussions during the workshop. And of course, electric is everybody's issue right now, right?
Mhm.
So Jose and I are looking to do some energy surveys and kind of see where we might be able to come up with some savings for that as well for next year. Now that we have a budget, we're starting to get ready for that as well. We're starting to prepare for next year and getting everything set up in the systems and looking at opening up the year, hopefully, so that orders can start going in, so we have everything for the start of the school year. So that's pretty much where we're at. Does
Thank you.
anybody have any questions about anything in particular?
I just want to congratulate you and your staff for all the work that you've done this year and really shepherding us through. And it's been a great year without budget freezes
Yeah,
and
and that-
things being managed and forecasted in a much greater detail and the attention to the data. So I just really would like to thank you and your staff as well.
Well, and a lot of that goes back out to the schools as well, because the schools have been really partnering with us to make sure that we didn't have to do the freeze this year. So that was very helpful.
It's so nice to have somebody full-time dedicated to the school.
Yeah, to be able.
Very welcome.
Yes, so thank you. You've been a tremendous addition. So thank you for all your work this year. It's really been remarkable and made a huge difference. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Lala? Thank you. Next up, we have a STEM program update.
Yes, we have Fran back with us, and I think she has some friends with her. And will talk to us about where we stand with the STEM program development.
Welcome back, Fran and friends.
So good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me and giving us the ability to share our progress on this really very exciting project that we've undertaken over multiple years. I do have with me Dr. Amy Korn, who has been part of the process throughout the curriculum meetings as well as our planning meetings this year. And you're going to hear from a student leader, Will Olmsted, who will talk more about it, but very impressive. Just got back from a national competition in robotics, I think Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Yeah, so he'll talk a little bit more about that, but we have a lot of talent in this district, and he's going to talk about how what he's been doing, and a lot of our students who are interested in this area have been doing that is going to work really well with what our planning has been. So you're all probably familiar with the fact that this has been a multiple year endeavor and started way in, actually even before the 2023 school year. We underwent a curriculum review which went for a couple of years actually, because we realized that there were so many different aspects to it. We started with looking at computer science. When we looked at STEM pathways, it was a much bigger area than we had thought of. And then within the last year, which was my last year here, basically in the capacity that I was in, we had recommendations in terms of, moving forward with courses in STEM, specifically in robotics. So with those recommendations in the spring of last year, we undertook the summer and the beginning of this school year with planning what does the curriculum look like? What do the courses look like? We had a number of course proposals, as you may remember. And we had a robotics as part of like the new courses that were developed and approved by the Board of Education. So at that point, we began a process of you may know with robotics, it is an area where you need supplies, you need lots of stuff, you need the robotics, right? And we've had a lot of conversations. So we went through a process of looking at grants because it is an area that the community is very, very interested in. And so we also looked at that as well as planning the design of what does the learning environment look like. And we're going to talk more about this, but we're really looking at a fall 2025. When school year opens next year, we'll be able to actually open up a learning environment, a STEM lab, as well as the new course and the whole program. So we're really excited about what's coming. So what I have been leading as a consultant, the process in a sense of, getting us to that point of like opening day in the fall. We formed a committee that's a subcommittee, and it's been really just for the thinking behind what's needed and ensuring that we have a STEM lab that's state of the art and that we will be able to use and expand upon. We've had 4 comprehensive meetings. We evaluated what was needed in terms of infrastructure, looked at what technology was needed, what the requirements of, what are the new STEM labs look like, and then we ensured that all of that we were talking about really, in fact, aligned with our curriculum. Okay. So our purpose essentially was to develop this learning environment that is going to foster these STEM skills that are so important and are so they're so integrated. You hear a lot about AI. The STEM skills and robotics and AI, they basically are very much intertwined, very important in terms of going forward. They align perfectly with the vision of a learner. Some areas more than others in terms of the entrepreneurial design thinker. However, problem solving, there's just so many aspects of it that actually go back to what vision of a learner is all about. And all of it, whether you're talking about design thinking, the different projects, actually creating the robots that you'll talk about in a second, the fabrication, is hands-on learning. It's, project-based learning, problem-based learning. And all, of course, we're fostering digital fluency with this. All right, so I'm going to start by going into the nitty gritty and talking a little bit about the process. And I'm going to have you guys talk a little bit about these areas if you can. When we met as a subcommittee, we talked about what does this space look like? And there is a space that's been identified for this redesigned, if you can imagine what this district did with our library learning commons, where we had, your traditional libraries, and then we reimagined them into what they are now as learning commons. We kind of took the same approach, but the actual room that has been designated as the new STEM lab looks a little bit different than our old traditional libraries, as, you might think. So would you like to Amy, would you like to talk about that particular space?
Yeah. So right now our custodians are living in that space, but we're going to have a significant renovation over the summer. We have identified a new home for them as well that they're happy with. And as part of this, we went out and visited several area schools, Ridgefields I wasn't able to go to, and then Glastonbury was it? And looked at their STEM and or STEAM labs, just to get some ideas for what we might be looking for, and used a lot of that information in our thinking about what that would look like. We've also had subcommittees to work on different parts of it, whether it's the furniture, the technology piece, and then kind of all come back together as a bigger think tank to make some final decisions and make sure that we have a state-of-the-art room to come to support all this great learning that's going to happen.
So we identified different areas of that room that we're focusing on. We talked about actually, we have whiteboards, and I think you've heard talk about this in different classrooms, but this is a perfect room for this. So having like that, those writable surfaces that students can plan are really important in that whole collaborative problem solving. Robotics workstations. So with robotics, you need the robotics, but you also need like a field, where you're actually, doing your work. You need the presentation space, interactive digital displays, and then the furniture needs to be flexible. Like it needs to be on wheels, it needs to be collaborative, and storage was a big like conversation. So where are we putting all these, little pieces? So that was the tables themselves, you'll see have like some storage, but there's an additional storage that's going to go along with this. So that there were like all these different areas that we had to take. And so now you see this is a rendering of the space and the design, that there's a field, as you can see at the bottom there. For the robotics, there's going to be a display area. The tables themselves, those are actually what they look like, have kind of like an industrial type of, look to them. But they have a surface where 4 kids can come around the table and work on the robots as they're building and problem solving. Do you want to speak to it at all? So Will has been, just so I can just sing his praises. Will and we have another student. We have students on the committee. They have been invaluable. I'm sure you know this, but they have been invaluable in terms of the feedback and some of the work. Will came to one of the committee meetings and brought his own 3D rendering using CAD, of course. So we had that as a conversation. So do you want to talk to what some of the needs that we?
So when we first identified what we needed to buy and purchase for this room, we really thought back to the engineering design process, which is used by all engineers. It goes from design, brainstorming, then you go to build, you're testing, prototyping. So we want to design the room around those different 6-7 steps that you usually see in this cyclical design or engineering thinking process. So Ms. Compar talked a lot about the different tables and the furniture and all that different aspects. So we wanted to make it kind of room into a circle, just like the engineering design process, where you're going from the tables, then you're going to the whiteboards, you're going to the field, testing your code, going back and keep on going in this loop so that you're thinking like an engineer, so we can produce students who, once they graduate, have that same type of thinking skills and are prepared for that type of environment.
So it's more than just the space and the stuff, as you can tell. There was a lot of thinking about how is learning going to happen within that space. The equipment was also a conversation. We started actually at the end of last year having, different platforms, if you may, in terms of what are the, robotics systems that are out there. We landed on VEX for a number of reasons. But the VEX systems that we are buying are aligned to standards. They actually have PD. Teachers can get certified. There's licensing that's actually, so it's nice because you get this kit, it's a super kit, they call it, but you get a lot of the different elements that you need in order to, run robotics. So we thought that was good. Okay, now, we couldn't do this without community support, and Wilton Educational Foundation provided $50,000 towards this this whole project, and we believe it was a generous contribution, and it really has now helped us make this whole vision a reality. So I just felt that we needed to recognize and let you all know that it were it not for Wilton Educational Foundation and their generosity, we wouldn't have all of the aspects of this room that we do have now. So Okay, so I basically thought that it would be important for you to hear from our student in terms of like some of the things that are going on. Will talk to, you know, his thinking in terms of the STEM lab, but also some of the things that he's been involved in throughout the community. And I'm going to give him the next two slides, basically.
So I'm the captain of a robotics team at the Wilton Library, and I mentor several other robotics groups in the town. So I think so I brought some perspectives from also students of the Wilton in high school that were important to the committee. The first one is improved accessibility. A lot of students like myself take music courses or other electives that prevent them from taking STEM courses. So we shortened a lot of the classes to just a semester, as we did with robotics, to make them more accessible, which can be seen in the enrollment in them now. We also want to expand our extracurriculars. We're adding a robotics team back to the high school next year. And then with this STEM lab, I've been working on renders with Mr. Planton, the engineering teacher at the high school, and Ms. Kompar and Miss Muir, and math teacher as well, to make those renderings and see those needs. And then we've also worked with Trackside and other different organizations in just expanding robotics beyond just the classroom. So if you go on to the next slide, here's just a photo collage of some of the different robotics outreach that has been done, not just by my team, but all the different organizations. You'll notice a whole list of different organizations of robotics in Wilton. We're going everywhere from robotics of the Wilton Library, where we currently have 2 teams that I captain and mentor. We have at Trackside, we have a team, and we're expanding to a BattleBots team as well, because the capital of BattleBots robotics is in Norwalk. We have several clubs at the high school that I help run, and several of my friends also help. And we're always looking for new activities and trying to expand the scope of robotics beyond the classroom, because there's just an insane amount of interest. Just after going to the international competition this last month, we've had 30 new applicants to just one team alone that I run. So it's just, the interest is there. So we not just applying academically, but also supplying it out of the classroom is really, really important.
So how did you get interested in this?
I've been working with Miss Kompar since 5th grade.
Third grade.
Third grade,
I'm
fifth
actually
grade.
third grade.
A long time. So she first got me interested through the ISTE program, which
He presented at the ISTE conference with us. Might have been 5th grade.
I think
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
fifth grade.
yeah, it was absolutely amazing. We impressed because of Will.
Is that you winning right there?
Yeah, that was us winning the state championships.
That's pretty great.
This year. So just with our robotics team at the library is called Singularity Technology, and this year our budget has been close to $30,000. We've had over 1,800 hours of outreach, community outreach through all our events, impacting more than 17 countries and just over 10,000 individuals. So we're always looking to just expand, not just in Wilton, but across borders as well with robotics.
It's great. It's great.
Very exciting.
Yes. Just amazing.
Great pictures too.
Yes.
So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of like where we're headed. So like I said, in the fall, we will be launching the new learning environment, the new STEM lab in what is now do you call it the custodial room? Something like that. Okay. But that is it's gonna look totally different, right? So we're gonna be launching a section of the robotics course that we presented at the beginning of the school year when we looked at new courses. What I've been saying even at the subcommittee, as you all know, these things take time to build. So I said, build it and they will come. Those of you that remember these movies, you remember The field of
dreams.
dreams. So, right, so build it and they will come, and that's what we're doing right now. And we're hoping that, you know, the following year, we're able to add a couple of sections, maybe do more advanced curriculum, and, you know, 2027 and beyond, really, you know, have multiple competitions and expanded course offerings. So, you know, we have a multi-year implementation vision as well as we go forward. But we needed to start with where we are right now with having that space, having it properly, you know, resourced. And, you know, beginning with the robotics course in the fall. So we're really very excited about it. And thank you all for your support this entire time.
Of course.
How many kids do you have signed up for the?
I don't know.
About 15, I believe. Yeah. That's
Does
great.
the team and the course walk together or separately?
I'm sure there's some students that are in the course that will be part, but they are
Or you
separate.
can do,
You can do both
You can
or
do both.
either. Yeah.
And we have separate materials for each.
Right, so part of what we did with actually purchasing, because we didn't want the class materials necessarily to be the competition materials, because sometimes that becomes problematic. We're buying different robotic kits.
oh, so they'll be, so that's great. So they can
Competition
they can have their
materials will
competition
have
needs, the
theirs.
class can have their
Yes.
needs,
Yeah.
and there can be access for the clubs outside of the course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's enough
Exactly.
space. There's a lot of space needed even for the club.
Yes. No, I saw the space. I think it's a fantastic
The
space.
space is great.
And just the evolution of education, how that was once the shop room.
Yep.
And now, you know, it's gonna be the you know, robotics room, and
That's a
cars
total
are
art.
turning into, you know, engineering feats of robotics and computers. So it kind of just shows the evolution in
Yeah,
that respect.
exactly.
Yeah.
Any questions from?
Are you a junior now?
Yes, I'm a junior.
And what do you think you're gonna go study?
Robotics automation.
Can you just talk about your time in Austin and what that was like for you?
Yeah, we went to Houston.
Oh, sorry.
And it's I'm part of, you'll actually see I'm wearing the sweatshirt right now. At first is the other global organization other than VEX that runs large competitions. I've been doing their programs, and I've been helping out in their programs since middle school. And there are two really important aspects of it. There's the robot itself, but also the outreach. You'll notice I presented a lot of those outreach statistics, but making an impact is really what matters in robotics right now, just so that it gets heard and it gets known, and that interest is generated. So that side by side is really important. As for our experience in Houston, it was a ton of fun. We met teams from all over the world, Romania, everywhere. Romania has a great STEM program, surprisingly. They had all of their teams placed in the top. And it was really interesting to see all these teams. And we had a couple of issues ourselves for the first 2 days of the competition, but just going through that problem solving method and just going back to the presentation with the classes, teaching that skill of going through the entire engineering design process is really important for in the moment situations like those like we had to face in Houston.
No panic, just a thoughtful.
Just you have to work you have to work as fast as you can, but also make sure you're not missing anything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
good for you.
Yeah, really quite impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great, really.
And thank you for, you know, not only your outreach, but helping, you know, shepherd the program through the high school and really kind of being that student connection to making sure that, you know, the classroom works and the clubs work, and it's really, you know, providing what you guys need to be successful. So I look forward to, you know, peeking my head into the classroom in the fall and seeing how you guys are doing and having you back and seeing how, and are you going to be on the new high school team? Are you going to do that team too,
Yeah,
including?
that team.
Are you going to split your time between us and the library? Yeah. No, that's really great. Thank you so much. And Fran, thank you for really shepherding this through and making it a managed and iterative process. And thank you to the Wilton Education Foundation for all they do for our schools and our kids, and the meaningful contributions that they make.
Will, were you the Will that slept outside in a tent for a year?
Yes.
You really are exceptional.
Really do that? Just as a thing to do?
Yeah,
or-
over COVID, I guess. We all went a little crazy during.
So you just sort of.
Yeah, I'm a scout, so I wanted to keep up my
Good for
sleeping
you.
outside.
Wow. You're quite a remarkable person.
Have you back at the table for another story.
Thank you.
Thank you all so
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Thank you, Fran. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, Amy.
Next up, for review and discuss is the, open choice enrollment recommendation. You'll see there's a briefing summary from Kevin in your, materials. It notes that, the superintendent's recommendation to open a maximum of 3 kindergarten seats to Norwich students participating in open choice for the following 25-26 school year. Key points is that our first 2 years of participation have been very successful. We presently enroll 10 open choice students and anticipate that they will return next year. Next year, 1 student would be in 3rd grade, 4 students would be in grade 2, and 5 would be in grade 1. All of them are doing very well currently at Miller Driscoll. Next year, including 3 open choice students, including the 3 open choice students, we would expect kindergarten enrollment to be around 250 students. With 14 sections of kindergarten, the average class size would be 17-18. The average cost of adding an additional student is marginal, and it's not the actual per pupil cost. And the Connecticut State Department of Education provides a grant of $3,000 per student, which we have been faithfully receiving since our inception into the program. And transportation is provided by the rest at no cost to the receiving district. And should out of district students require special education or related services, the sending district pays the amount equal to the difference between the cost of the services and the grant provided by the State Department of Education. So this is a review and discuss. Everyone's welcome to comment now, also think about it, send questions in. It'll be for a second discussion and then vote at our next meeting.
So I emailed Kevin asking him if we have a student in the program now.
Right.
And there's a sibling that the family would like also to be enrolled in the program coming
Right.
in. Does that sibling have to go into the lottery, or is that something that can happen just because we have a relationship with the family when child is already in the program? How does that work?
So I think we'll have to, I can't speak to how it works, so I'm glad you have the question and it gets asked. I'm sure Kevin will ask. I know that enrollment in the program is done through CES and not through us, and they handle the application process. So I'm sure they have a process that deals with sibling, and sibling priority would be my,
We don't have any current sibling?
initial understanding, but not to my knowledge, but we'll make sure the question gets logged and answered.
So did we have someone skip a grade?
No.
No, so there's the first year. We had kids come in and there was a student who came in kindergarten and 1st
Oh,
grade.
okay.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
and third?
Yeah, so that's what it is. So that
Okay.
first year it was split between the 2 years and not just bringing in at kindergarten. Yeah.
So no one's left.
So no one's left, no. And we expect, them to return next year, but clearly it's still their choice. But once accepted into the program, they can maintain their enrollment, provided they meet the requirements of residency in Norwalk through grade 12. So I invite, if anybody else has any questions, and Pam will make sure that your question gets answered and answered for the whole group, and we'll put it on the question chart so the public can see it as well. And during the next 2 weeks, if anybody has any other questions they want to address to Kevin, feel free to do so, and it'll be on the agenda for our next meeting. Okay, next item is the draft 25-26 BOE meeting calendar. So, you know, this is 1 year's ending, another one is beginning. It tracks very similar, you know, always to that first and third Thursday of the month. You'll see the budget process is already laid out for next year, including I think the evening budget workshops works well this past year, and that will be repeated again for 2026. The only thing I just wanted to bring everybody's attention to is that first Thursday, August 21st meeting. I've scheduled a board retreat to happen from 6 to 7 prior to our first regular meeting, just to give us a chance to all get together and agenda plan and just meet before the start of the next school year after the summer. And that's not a usual timing. Anybody, and we also made sure that these meetings don't abut, those Thursdays don't abut against the holiday, so it should all work out. But if anybody has any questions, we'll do put this on the agenda for the next item for a vote, next meeting for a vote. And next for discussion is a draft Wilton Public School 26-27 district calendar. Proposed calendar. It has one less half day than this year. We had that discussion during the professional development, saying that we were restructuring that a little bit. We took one away, and the calendar was altered a little bit to make sure they were scheduled in a way that was more conducive to professional development and teacher and classroom needs. It is my current understanding that our spring break is aligned with New Canaan. Nobody else is out yet, but we are, you know, in alignment with New Canaan. Others haven't released theirs yet. And other than that, you'll notice on the second side of it, it also lays out holidays and awareness and heritage information for community awareness and understanding, and also to help teachers manage their testing and homework schedule. And we can, if anybody has any questions about this, we can be happy to discuss. Any
So
questions?
there's shortened days, and then there's one that's complete. There's no school on the 3rd of November, or is that, oh, yes, because it's vote, is that the election?
That's election day.
Okay. That's right, okay,
Yes.
That's it.
So election day, the kids don't come,
right.
but teachers have professional learning.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Yes. I remember when on election day, they used to have like parents parading through the schools, but those days are long gone.
Yeah.
Yes, and this will be on the agenda for a vote at our next meeting.
Ruth, I can't remember if I asked this. Okay, 25-26 calendar, but
Yeah.
For the 4 days that we shortened for K-8 conferences,
Yes.
and is there anything we can do to make those more efficient over 2 days and not have 4 curtailed days? I don't know.
It's tough to do that, given the volume of parents who usually show up. I do know that Kevin is very interested in reimagining parent-teacher conferences, but I think that's going to require an awful lot of work with the community and with the teachers. I don't think we'd be ready to make a significant change next year.
Do we know how many roughly percentage of parents take those meetings in person versus?
I don't know the information off the top of my head. But I do believe, from what I understand, is that parents at the elementary level do take advantage of
Yes,
that opportunity to
yeah.
talk to the teachers. I just don't know how many do it virtually versus in person. I can get that information for you.
Yeah, I think what I've heard from parents is that it's very difficult to do the daytime.
Yeah.
For a lot of working. So, and I think we brought this up last year as well.
Yeah.
And honestly, for teachers, it's having been in that situation, it's pretty tough to teach those those half days. Everything is all kerfuffled. You know, you're getting a kid for one, especially for the specials, you get a kid on the Wednesday and you wouldn't see him again until after Thanksgiving. Because of the way the cycle works, you know, for some of these drop schedules. So,
And
Yeah.
some of this would also require some contract
well,
negotiations.
that's, that's the other thing, is that
Yes.
if you did an evening, you'd have to get that.
Yeah, so
Okay.
there's lots of like moving pieces that have like,
Yeah.
you know,
Do other
Made it-
districts do evenings?
Mhm.
Do other
But
districts?
they would give teachers off, if they did like 2 nights of evenings, they would give teachers off a full day.
And get a sub kind of thing?
No, just like it would be a day off, like it would be a,
So in
Vacation day.
where I came from before in Greenwich, we had evening conferences, but it was part of the contract. It was negotiated.
Yeah.
We don't currently have that in this contract.
so I think,
So did you have,
thinking-
so if you had an evening contract, conferences, did you have to give up something for the teachers during the day? Or is that just part of their
It's
job?
just part of their job.
but there's a compensation element to it
Right.
Right,
through the
right.
contract,
Yeah.
so,
And
yes.
were there just a certain number of nights they could do it?
Yes.
Like 2 or 3,
I think we did too.
2?
The teacher,
And it usually started about 3.
Yeah,
And
and
they
then just
did it
work
at-
into about 7 or, yeah.
the teacher contract is up for negotiation. Is this something that could be like raised with the teachers? Like, how would you?
Yeah, it could be. I defer to Kevin to decide whether or not he
Because it's
would want to
clear, I
do
mean, this
that.
has been
Exactly.
going on for a number of years now.
Well, I think there's a lot of pieces to it, and I think some of it also is, making sure that whatever we put in next is something that we want to, ensure is kind of the right way to move forward over many years to come.
Yeah.
So I think that, we can certainly have a more directed kind of conversation with it, and I know that it has been on our radar to talk about and do, and try to put some type of focus groups together and
Yeah.
talk to teachers and parents and try to figure out a way that in a system that kind of works
It's
for
important to have
everybody.
the contact, I think with the teacher, I think for a parent to actually sit down face to face with the teacher, because they're not in the building anymore the way they used to be, so it is an important time for that, those two stakeholders.
those 3 days aren't enough for the amount of parents that want to meet the teachers, so the teachers end up having to schedule during, prep periods
Yeah.
and during other times.
Early
after-
morning.
Early
They'll
mornings
come in
after school,
early.
because they just can't accommodate that much time. So I think no matter what, like, it's very difficult to set aside enough time to meet with every single parent.
Yeah,
So, I mean, not that I'm saying we should get rid of it, but I think there could be a reimagining.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Of how we approach parent-teacher conferences,
yeah,
right? Like, I think it's a very antiquated.
yeah, I
System.
know, I agree with you, I
So-
think it's hard
Yeah.
in this world and in these days to do it the way we're doing it. But it is an important thing.
I
that
agree. I
For
agree.
the stakeholders to actually have a conversation in person.
And I think there's a lot of parents that probably, not that every kid doesn't deserve the time, but there's also probably a lot of parents that may require more time than
Yeah.
other parents.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a challenge.
So I would suggest we take a cue from our STEM student and think about this in terms of going through a design process. Be
Yeah.
very clear about what our goals are.
Yep.
Brainstorming some ideas, maybe testing some of them out, getting some feedback and.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, and it's really trying to, make something that works moving forward in a meaningful way for both teachers and parents and students and families.
So it has an educational purpose.
Yes, and it helps move, with goals and, further along.
and maybe
Yeah.
also honor the differences that families and students may have.
Yeah, and needs, yeah.
Can we ask Cabe too, if there's other schools that have reimagined different models?
I think Kevin has been researching it.
Okay.
He's been much more involved in that than I, so maybe when he comes back, we can
Yeah.
have a
Yeah, we
deeper
can-
discussion
Mhm.
about that.
Yeah. Definitely. And any other questions about or specific to the calendar?
Are all of our surrounding districts making this decision before the end of this school year? Because we often seem to be one of the first districts to make the decision, and that came in wasn't such a popular decision with the parents in the last year, and if there was something we could do to avoid
So I
being
think
off.
we're always trying to like walk a fine line between giving like parents and families. I know there's always a request to give them lead time to be able to plan accordingly and, you know, make vacation plans or family plans. Plan, you know, college visits and all and the like, and have the calendar out and going. I think like this past year was a bit of an anomaly where we were just off sync with, you know, surrounding districts. And once in a while that happens, even if we know it happens, even if it's known in advance, because it might be, you know, the right choice for our district. So, but I think because of that, we are kind of, you know, looking at it more closer in time. So like New Canaan is already out, and we know that we're in sync with them, and I think others are still kind of where we are in their planning process.
I think teachers also appreciate.
Having that set schedule and yeah. No. Anything else on the calendar? Okay, so we'll push this over to an action item for our next. So tonight there are no action items. And comments from the public. Hearing none. I just want to bring everybody's special attention to BOE special meeting on Thursday, June 5th at 6 p.m. That will the special meeting starts at 6. The regular meeting will be at 7, but it's when we're honoring retirees and community members. So we will start at 6 p.m. and it will be here in the lower section of the library. And then we have canceled our June 19th meeting. And graduation will be on the 14th. Thank you all. And 8:01 meeting adjourned.